walk into a Texas barn, smell the hay, smell the diesel. There is a 1991 Ford F-250 in the corner, paint flat, fenders dented, exhaust mended with a beer can. The owner is 73. He started it last Sunday after 8 months sitting. It coughed once and idled. Walk to the next barn. Tarp pulled off a 2024 Ram 1500. The owner spent $96,000 on it. The dashboard cluster is dark, black, blank, dead. Stellantis recalled 72,000 Rams last winter because the digital instrument panel can fail without warning, and the day his went dark, he became one of them. He cannot legally drive a truck with no speedometer. The dealer is weeks out, new paint, dead truck. That is the contrast at the heart of this video. The $96,000 paperweight in the second barn, and the $8,000 runner in the first. I am Max, and today, on Outfox Apocalypse, I am giving you 9 vehicles that the people who actually plan for the worst, combat veterans, ranch mechanics, retired EMS, overland travelers who have crossed continents on a wrench and a prayer, choose when they have to bet their lives on something that starts. 8 of them have 4 wheels. 1 of them has 2. And the last one is going to change how you walk through every government auction website for the rest of your life. This video is also the answer to 92 of you who left comments under 25 vehicle rules 3 months ago. The pack wrote half of what is coming. So thank you. Keep talking. Let me get to the list. Number 1. Toyota Land Cruiser XJ60. Built from 1980 to 1987. 4-liter 2H inline 6 diesel, indirect injection, mechanical Bosch-style injection pump, compression ratio 20.7 to 1. No electronic control whatsoever. This is the truck United Nations relief workers drove into places that did not have roads. It will run on diesel that has been sitting in a tank for 2 years, tolerates dirty fuel, biodiesel blends, and, with a heater conversion, filtered waste vegetable oil. What it will not do, and ignore the YouTube folklore here, is run on whatever you can pour into it from your kitchen pantry. The 2H needs diesel or processed biofuel, just at lower quality than a modern engine. Pricing in 2026, a clean XJ60 will run you $18,000 to $35,000. The gasoline FJ40, same chassis era, simpler still, runs on any gasoline that burns. $25,000 to $60,000 for a good one, easily more for a restored example. Yes, that is a lot. These vehicles became collectibles 10 years ago, the price of being right. Number 2. Ford F-250 with the 7.3-liter IDI diesel. Built from 1988 through 1994, and this matters, because in mid-1994, Ford replaced the IDI with the Power Stroke, which has electronic injection. You want the IDI specifically, not the Power Stroke. The IDI uses a Stanadyne DB2 rotary injection pump, fully mechanical except for an electromechanical fuel shutoff solenoid you can bypass with a paperclip if you have to. No engine computer running combustion. The catch, the 7.3 IDI, has a documented problem called cylinder cavitation. Combustion vibration creates vacuum bubbles in the coolant. The bubbles collapse against the cylinder wall and erode it. Mitigation is simple: supplemental coolant additives. The SCA or DCA cartridges from Fleetguard, checked every other oil change. Or use pre-charged extended life coolant from the start. $500 in additives and you have a 1,000,000-mile engine. Ignore the cavitation and you have 8 years before it kills the block. Pricing 2026, $5,000 to $15,000 for a running example. Number 3. Jeep Cherokee XJ. Built from 1984 through 2001. But here's the catch most lists miss. The legendary 4.0-liter AMC inline 6 did not arrive until 1987. And there is a sweet spot inside the production run, model years 1991 through 1995. Those are the OBDI years. Fuel injected, yes. So not the most EMP resistant on this list, but pre-OBD2, simple to diagnose, easy to repair, and the AMC 4.0 is one of the most over-engineered American engines ever built. 300,000 miles is normal. 500,000 miles is not unusual. Parts are everywhere. The XJ has the best aftermarket support of any classic 4x4 in America, and you can rebuild a complete drivetrain from parts at any junkyard in the country. Pricing 2026, $3,000 to $10,000 for a running 1991 to 1995 example. Quick interlude before slot 4. Why does a 1991 truck win against a 2024 truck? It is not because EMP. That is the YouTube myth, and I will get to the actual science later. It is because complexity is the failure point. The RAM with the dark cluster does not need a war or a pulse to be dead. It needs a software bug, plus a recall, plus a supply chain, plus a dealer who is 3 weeks out. Any one of those things, on any random Tuesday, takes your truck off the road. Now stack that against a real crisis. Hurricane crosses your county and the dealer closes for a month. Your software-dependent truck is now a yard ornament. The 1991 F-250 does not care. Its starter is mechanical. Its fuel pump is mechanical. The whole drivetrain runs on physics that worked before computers existed and will work after. That is the philosophy behind every vehicle on this list. They survive the boring failures, not just the dramatic ones. Software updates gone wrong, sensors discontinued, suppliers bankrupted, dealers shut down. None of those events make the news, but every one of them parks a modern truck for weeks. The list I am giving you is the list of trucks that do not care about any of them. Now back to the list. Number 4. Mercedes-Benz W123, the 300D sedan, 300CD coupe, 300 TD wagon, and the bigger W126 chassis, 300 SD sedan. The W123 ran from 1976 to 1985. The 300 CD coupe and 300 TD wagon got the OM617 turbo diesel from 1981 onward. The US 300D sedan got it for the 1982 model year. Bosch inline mechanical injection pump. No ECU. Indirect injection pre-chamber design. Quick story about one of these. Years ago, I knew an old man who kept a 300D in his garage. He had brought it home from Germany himself in the 80s, drove it across borders through countries that no longer exist with that name. By the time I sat in it, it had close to 1 million kilometers on it and started every single time. The doors did not close like a car door. They closed like the slide of a colt going home, heavy, machined, final. His garage held a wagon load of spare parts and a 55-gallon drum of motor oil. He called the car the Chariot of the Apocalypse, and he meant it the way old men mean things, half joking and entirely serious. He is gone now. His children sold the car for next to nothing. I had told them I wanted to buy it. They never called. Someone took the whole garage in one transaction. The drum of oil, the spare parts, the Chariot. So when I tell you finding a clean W123 today is rare, I mean it from personal loss. These engines are famous for 2 reasons. 1, they will run 1 million miles with basic maintenance. A Greek taxi driver named Gregorios Sakanitis put 4.6 million kilometers on his 1976 240D. Mercedes gave him a new E-Class and took the original car for their museum. 2, the running on vegetable oil legend is partly true. With a 2-tank conversion, a heated fuel line, and filtered waste vegetable oil, an OM617 will absolutely run on the cooking oil from a McDonald's dumpster. But it is a conversion, not a magic trick. You cannot just pour Wesson oil into the tank in January in Minnesota and drive away. Hot weather, blended fuel, or the conversion kit. Pricing 2026, $5,000 to $15,000 for a clean W123 turbo diesel, if you can find one whose previous owner has not just passed away. Concours examples and low-mileage cars cross 30. Number 5. Chevrolet K5 Blazer, or Suburban from the square body era. The sweet spot is the 1986 model year, last carbureted GM full-size truck, quadrajet 4-barrel on the 305 or 350 small block V8, mechanical fuel delivery, simple wiring, parts at every junkyard in America. Throttle body injection took over in 1987, and that is fine too. One engine computer, simple enough that a high school shop class can troubleshoot it. One catch most lists miss. From 1975 onward, GM used HEI ignition, high energy electronic, which has a small electronic module in the distributor. That module is vulnerable to a pulse and to age. The fix is a $30 spare HEI module in your glove box. If you want truly all mechanical, you want a 1973 or 1974 KI5 with points ignition. Older, harder to find, but no semiconductor anywhere in the ignition path. Pricing 2026, $5,000 to $25,000 for a clean square body, more for a restored example. The square body market has gone vertical in the last 5 years. K5 ended in 1991. Suburban kept going. Number 6. Toyota Hilux Diesel, 1980s through mid-1990s. The 2.2L, 2.42L, or 2.83L inline-4 diesels. All mechanical injection, all indirect injection, all built to torque a load up a goat path in Eastern Africa for 30 years without complaint. In 2003, Top Gear took a 1988 Hilux Diesel, Series 3, Episodes 5 and 6, and tried to kill it. They drove it into the Bristol Channel at low tide and let the Severn Estuary swallow it overnight, set fire to the cabin, dropped a caravan on it, and then they put it on top of a 23-story tower block in Hackney, East London, that was scheduled for demolition. They imploded the building with the truck on top. After they pulled it out of the rubble, it started. That was 23 years ago, and people still tell the story. The Hilux is the best-selling vehicle across most of Southern and East Africa. The default truck of Australia, Argentina, Panama, Fiji. Toyota stopped selling Hilux in North America in 1995, replaced by the Tacoma. So, in the United States, parts get harder to find than in Nigeria. If you live in the US, this is more of an export the truck from Japan project. If you live anywhere else, it is the easiest vehicle on this list to keep alive. Pricing 2026, $5,000 to $15,000 US, more for low-mileage Japanese domestic market imports. Quick interlude, the EMP question, since you came here for it. The EMP Commission, the United States government's panel that actually studied this, tested 37 cars built between 1986 and 2002, plus 18 trucks from 1991 to 2003. Hit them with pulses up to 50,000 volts per meter, the kind a high-altitude nuclear detonation would produce. Most kept running. About 8% of cars shut down. Trucks were worse. About 15%. Almost all restarted on their own. Of the 3 cars that actually stalled, only 1 failed to restart at all. So the YouTube line, "Every car dies," is not what the commission found. But here is what matters. The commission did not test carbureted points ignition vehicles. They had none to test. By 1986, every American passenger vehicle already had electronic ignition. Physics tells you why the older designs would have done better. A modern engine has thousands of semiconductor junctions an E1 pulse can damage. A carbon points engine has none in the ignition path. Nothing for the pulse to fry. Nothing for the software bug to lock up. Nothing for the dealer to flash. Inference, not measurement, but the inference is solid. So the mechanical vehicle is not EMP proof. It is everything proof by design. EMP is the headline grabber. But the boring everyday failures kill more vehicles every year than any pulse ever has. The dealer that cannot get the part. The recall that requires a flash you cannot do at home. The sensor that nobody makes anymore because the supplier went out of business. Each one of those is a slow-motion EMP for whatever vehicle you happen to own. Now back to the list. Number 7. The two-wheeler I promised you at the start. Honda CT110, also called the Trail 110, the postie bike in Australia, or simply the most useful small motorcycle ever built. 105 cubic centimeters, single-cylinder 4-stroke, kickstart, semi-automatic 4-speed with a centrifugal clutch and a high-low sub-transmission. Honda made these from 1980 to 1986 in the United States and continued in Australia and Japan until 2012. Real-world fuel economy, 75 to 85 miles per gallon. Honda originally advertised over 100. Cargo capacity on the factory rack, 240 pounds. They run on any gasoline that burns. They fit in the bed of any of the trucks above, and they go places no full-size vehicle can follow. I have personal experience with this engine. A coworker of mine years ago had a similar Honda from his father, same engine family, same simplicity, and I helped him bring it back to life. I still remember how easy that was. The engine could be torn down to the cases and reassembled in an afternoon. The electrical system could be diagnosed with a test light and a battery. Not even a multimeter, just a continuity test you could do in a barn at night. No diagnostic software. No paid subscription. No factory key the dealer holds. Hands and a wrench. And here is the second thing nobody on YouTube mentions. The Chinese have built an entire industry around clones of this Honda engine: choppers, dirt bikes, scooters, off-road minis, postal bikes, three-wheel cargo trikes. Pick a country anywhere on Earth, and there is a 110cc Honda pattern engine for sale at the local market. Parts are sold by weight in some places. Even the bad clones are mechanically identical, which means a ratty Honda CT110 with a shot piston can take a $50 Chinese piston and run another 20,000 miles. So, my honest opinion, not the YouTube survival blogger consensus, not the brand snob position, is this. The best two-wheel apocalypse vehicle is not the Harley you have been polishing in your garage, not the BMW adventure bike with traction control. It is the old Honda Trail 110 for the simplicity, for the global parts availability, for the fact that you can fix it with what is in your toolbox right now. Pricing 2026, $2,000 to $5,000 for a clean CT110 in the United States. Chinese clones, $300 to $1,200 new, are the budget option, and they will get you home almost as well. Number 8. The 1995 Mercedes-Benz E300D, and this one is the unicorn. Pay attention. The W124 chassis, E300D, model year 1995 only, in the United States, is the last fully mechanical injection diesel Mercedes ever sold here. Engine code OM606.910, naturally aspirated. Bosch inline mechanical pump, no ECU controlling fueling. From 1996 onward, even the diesel Mercedes got an electronic injection pump. The W210 chassis, E300 turbo diesel, beautiful car, but it has an engine computer. So, when you see a W124 E300D listed, check the year on the title. If it says 1995, you have found the unicorn. Daily driver comfortable, German build quality, mid-30s miles per gallon will outlast you. The catch, they made very few of them in the US for one model year. Finding a clean one is the hard part. Pricing 2026, $8,000 to $18,000 for a 1995 E300D in driver condition. Now, number 9. The slot I have been saving the whole video. The trick hiding in plain sight on every government auction site in America. Number 9. The retired Type 1 ambulance. Specifically, a Ford F350 or F450 chassis cab. The early 1990s ambulances came with the 7.3 IDI mechanical diesel. Mid-1990s through early 2000s ambulances shipped with the 7.3 Power Stroke, Same engine block lineage, no electronics on the IDI, modest electronics on the Power Stroke. Fitted with a fiberglass and aluminum patient module, the boxy ambulance silhouette every American has seen 10,000 times. Same diesel engine family as slot number 2, but on a heavier chassis with dual rear wheels, 16 to 20,000 pounds of gross vehicle weight rating, and a fully insulated, climate-controlled, hard-sided box already bolted to the frame. The box is wired for 12-volt horsepower, shore power hookups, oxygen mounts, gurney rails that double as cargo tie-downs, fold-down benches, a bulkhead between the cab and the patient compartment, crashworthiness exceeding passenger vehicle DOT standards. This is the vehicle every survival YouTuber says you need to build, and the government has been auctioning it off for 15 years. Fire departments and EMS agencies retire these at 100 to 150,000 miles. That is middle age for a 7.3. Fleet maintained their entire service life. Every oil change logged, every brake job documented, every quirk noted in writing. When they are pulled from service, they go on to Municipid, Gov Deals, auction time for $5,000. Sometimes 7, 12 if exceptional. Compare that to a comparable F-250 with a 7.3 plus camper shell plus build out, easily $40,000. You can buy a retired ambulance, a roof mount solar array, a battery bank, and a tank of fuel for less than the cost of the 7.3 truck alone. The community knows. EMS veterans buy these back from the agencies that retired them. They trust the maintenance logs because they signed them. Aftermarket four-wheel drive conversions exist. Quigley specializes in the van chassis Type 3 variants, while Boyer or Advance 4WD handle the F-Series chassis builds, converted unit 15 to 25,000. Still cheaper than a build from scratch. You are not buying a vehicle. You are buying a hospital you can drive into the woods. Now let me tie this together. What do these 9 have in common? No subscription, no app. No software update, no touchscreen. You can fix every one of them in a barn with a wrench, a multimeter, and a paper manual. None of them will go dark in your driveway because Stellantis pushed a bad patch, or because a sensor in Dusseldorf went on back order. The touchscreen is not a feature. The touchscreen is the failure point. And the ambulance, the trick of the entire list, is just the same proven engine on a heavier chassis with the camper already built. A word about what is coming. People hear me say complexity is the failure point, and ask why the Chinese cars filling driveways in other countries are not showing up here yet. Short answer: tariffs. The United States holds a 100% import duty on Chinese EVs and roughly 27% on the regular ones. Out of more than 16 million vehicles sold in America in 2025, fewer than 1% came from China. They are not in your local showroom because they cannot be in your local showroom, for now. But look at the rest of the world. Mexican curbs are filling up with them. Australian dealerships are stocking BYD, Chery, and MG next to the Toyotas. Europe is on a faster timeline, some countries imposing duties, others still arguing. Each market is fighting the same trade-off: cheap modern vehicles up front, paid for in long-term repair pain that the buyer carries alone, not the importer. If Washington cuts a deal and history says political pressure cracks tariff walls eventually, the picture changes inside 2 or 3 years. The doors unlock, cheap vehicles flood in. The parts problem nobody has today becomes the parts problem nobody can escape. And here is the part most channels miss. The parts problem is already partly here, even without a single Chinese branded car in the lineup. A huge share of the components in your American truck, the sensor modules, the touchscreen boards, the wiring harnesses, the small electric motors that move every actuator, are already manufactured in Chinese factories. Ford does it, Ram does it, GM does it. The dealer never tells you this. But when that one factory in Shenzhen has a fire, or a labor shortage, or a tariff war disrupts the export, your domestic brand truck is suddenly waiting 6 weeks for a sensor too. The supply chain failure does not need a Chinese badge on the hood. It is already inside the hood you have right now. I have spent time in shops watching mechanics work on these vehicles, domestic and import alike, and the conversation is always the same. Everything new is built down to a price, sealed against repair, dependent on parts from one factory on the other side of the planet, and useless without a paid diagnostic subscription that the manufacturer revokes the day they decide to. I have seen what happens to a country that opens the doors to cheap imports without a plan B for parts. It is not bad for the manufacturer, it is bad for the buyer. And I do not want America sliding under that pressure for short-term consumer savings. But the pressure is real, and it is on the calendar. So, when I tell you these 9 mechanical vehicles are the answer, I am not telling you to fight the world that exists today. I am telling you to be ready for the world that is 2 trade deals away. The future of vehicle complexity is already paid for. Most people just have not opened the bill yet. If you are watching this from your driveway and your driveway has a 2024 anything in it, here is your add-on kit. A Faraday bag for your key fobs, $20 on Amazon. A manual hand pump fuel transfer rig, $30. Lets you move fuel between vehicles or jerry cans without electricity. Paper repair manuals for whatever you drive, Haynes, Chilton, or the factory shop manual on a flash drive. Because when the internet goes down, your YouTube tutorials go with it. Those 3 things are not a bug-out plan, they are an honesty plan. They tell you that you know what you are driving and what it cannot do. If you are watching from a barn with one of these 9 in it, you already know. You knew when you bought the truck. You knew when you turned down the new car for the 3rd time at the dealership. You knew when your neighbors made fun of the rust. You did not need this video. But thank you for watching anyway, because the comment section under this video is where the rest of us learn from you. The pack, the Land Cruiser owners, the diesel mechanics, the EMS veterans who already bought their ambulance, the Mercedes guy with the 4 million kilometer odometer, the Hilux driver in Argentina who has not paid for a part in 20 years. Drop your story in the comments. Tell me which vehicle you trust and why. The next video lives in those replies. Stay safe. Max out.